Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Posey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Lew, I have an issue that ties in with the Chairman's question about the role of the Treasury in making payments. For 6 years, 6 long, torturous years, I've been fighting for a group of former hostages held captive by the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, better known as FARC. I know you're familiar with them. You see, these men were on a U.S. government counter-narcotics mission when they were captured by the FARC. One American was executed, and the other 3 were held hostage for 5.5 years. They were subject to conditions that neither you nor I can even begin to imagine. Horrible. After returning home, the former hostages were granted a judgment under the Anti-Terrorism Act for damages against the FARC. However, the accounts to fund this judgment have been blocked by the Treasury Department since the Office of Foreign Assets Control is now designating all FARC accounts as kingpin. Congress clearly wanted terrorism victims to be compensated when it passed the law to allow them to access the frozen assets of terrorists. But the Office of Foreign Assets Control has eliminated their ability to do that by designating all FARC assets as kingpin. A small change to TRIA would fix this. The bill that accomplishes this, H.R. 3394, the Captive Act, passed the House unanimously, totally bipartisan, unanimous, in July. Now I'm hearing that the Office of Foreign Asset Control is blocking the bill in the Senate. In the meantime, the FARC peace accord includes reparations for Colombian victims of the FARC terrorism, and a $450 million appropriation to implement the accord is waiting for congressional passage. However, here we have American victims of terrorism who went through years of torture on behalf of the United States government who have still not been compensated. My question for you is, will you please work with me and these former hostages who have suffered so much already at the hands of FARC so that they don't have to suffer at the hands of Congress and bureaucrats in the future? And let's get them compensated.
Congressman, I share your concern for victims of terrorism, and I understand that it's a very complex and heavily litigated issue regarding multiple claims to a limited pool of money. As I know you are aware, TRIA allows a person who has a judgment to go against blocked assets, but currently the term blocked assets as defined by TRIA gives access to funds that are frozen pursuant to 2 statutes, IEPA and the Trading with the Enemy Act. IEPA is the principal tool that we at Treasury use to sanction terrorist organizations and their members, as well as victims of state sponsors of terrorism. The Kingpin Act, as I know you know, is designed specifically to create tools to deal with the threat that our country faces because of international narcotics trafficking. And amending TRIA to have the definition of blocked assets include property frozen under the Kingpin Act could very much undermine our efforts on that very important mission as well. So we would look forward to working together to pursue how we address the concerns that we share in terms of victims of terror having access to compensation. But our concerns are to protect another, I think, shared goal, that we be able to take very decisive action to stop narcotics trafficking.
Well, I'm a little bit confused how giving American patriots the same or equal consideration of foreign people who have been terrorized would undermine any of our security efforts to fight terrorism or narco-terrorism.
So the Kingpin Act is designed to provide resources that go against fighting
I understand
narcotics
that,
trafficking.
But you know, this is taking resources from narco-terrorists in compensating American victims. And I mean, I just don't think there's any excuse for any bureaucrat in this country to hold up, to willingly, knowingly, willfully hold up the compensation of these gentlemen when it can be remedied so very easily.
Time of the
I think there's
gentleman.
a special place in hell for people that would do that.